Hey there, folks. Thanks for joining me. I owe you an apology because yesterday I just was too distracted and I felt like I couldn't get my life together or anything to be of any value to you. So I'm super, super sorry for those of you who joined me live and I couldn't get it together yesterday. So we're going to make up for that today, hopefully, because I definitely don't want to waste anyone's time. So let's get into it. So yesterday we were talking about transitioning from corporate to Nomad, but I'm going to mix the targeting your target audience together because it will relate, I promise. Okay. So first, let me just talk to those individuals who are coming from corporate, whether it be corporate America or corporate England or corporate Australia or wherever. I want you to concentrate on doing the things that are actually going to bring money into the business. So I'm still getting a lot of emails of people recommending, they want to know the websites, they want to know hosting, they want to know where they can get their logo done still. And I understand that desire, but none of that is going to turn into money initially. You can go get those things done as you grow, but what I want you all to do right now is plant the seeds. And so it's going to feel like work when you run around and get incorporated, when you get your website, when you do all these things. And by the time it's time to market your business and find your target audience, there's a possibility you can be burnt out because some of those tasks, if you didn't quite know what you were doing, can take you 6 months to a year to do it the way you may think you want it. And none of that time you went getting your target audience. So I'm going to kind of recommend that you just focus on, we talked about this earlier, the content creation and finding out where your target audience is online. So let me go over my notes, make sure I'm having everything that I'm saying. Okay. So when you think of businesses that started years ago, Google, Facebook, I want you to remember that you're currently looking at the result of a company that niched down initially and then they expanded. Okay. So let's look at a case of Google. We're on YouTube. YouTube is a Google product. So Google started on Stanford's campus. Okay. Their target audience was just people on Stanford. They did not say, we want to go out here and create search for the whole world at that moment. They niched down initially, worked out all the kinks and things they had to do with Stanford, and then they branched out. And am I saying that backward? Was Stanford, Harvard? So Facebook was Harvard. If I might have mixed the schools up. If you are an entrepreneur, read the Google story. It's important. But same thing with Harvard. Facebook was Harvard, if I have that correctly. Yes. So they did the same thing. They did not reach out trying to be an online community for all campuses initially. They just did it for that school. So I know some businesses or some people starting out want to go super general with their marketing, and it's going to be really, really hard to do that. So I want you to see how larger companies, when they started, they focused on one area. Hey there, Tony. Facebook, Harvard. Thank you, honey. They started in one area. They did not go full general. So that's really, you need to understand that that's why it's so important for you to do that for your brand and for your business. Okay. Don't go general. Just it's going to waste a lot of time. And as it relates to SEO, it's going to be super hard for people to find you because you weren't clear who your audience is for. Okay. So even if we look at Geico basically went to help military service folks. That was their niche. Geico, the insurance company. That's kind of where they started. And then they branched out to be able to insure anyone and everyone. But Geico was able to be super, super competitive in their rates because of the audience of military professionals that they started with. So I bring all that up to, if you're trying to start your brand or grow your business, it's going to be important to niche down initially, get all the kinks out, and then you can expand whenever you want to or whenever you start to grow. But initially, you have to get your audience. Now, finding out where your target audience is, first you gotta say who they are. And when I talk to a lot of people and when I'm getting your emails right now, the main struggle is telling me who your target audience is. That's usually the first question I ask. And people will give me answers like small businesses. That's not a target audience. It's still super, super general because a small business can be a plumber, it can be a restaurant owner, It can be a daycare. It can be so many different industries, and they're still a small business, but all of them are going to have their own different problems and issues and that type of thing. So in order for you to make a customer feel like you can solve their problem, you can't do that with everyone. You can't even do that with real life, okay? So what I'm seeing the hard transition is for people in corporate who work for large companies to understand that this large company you currently work for niched out initially. Okay, so you're going to have to niche out initially and go through that transition. I hope that makes sense. So let's see, where are the messages? Okay, currently. All right, cool. All right. Now, when you're looking at your companies right now that are going super general, they have a staff. They have staff in different departments and all of that, so they can go super general. And until you get to that level, I want you to say super, super specific initially. Now, you can still, because you're doing direct to consumer, you can still stay and create a good online income with a very niche audience. If you have a hobby and a desire to just talk about drones or poodles or surfing, there is a population online that will be interested in the content you're giving, and you can make it super, super, super specific, because that is what's going to help all the algorithms find you. If they can't find you, it's going to be difficult for you to start to create those customers and that type of thing. So, hey there, if you guys have any questions, just put Q. Actually, it's not a ton of you, so you could just put them in there. Just put what your questions are. But when you, y'all know I get distracted. What was I going to say? Right. So we want to go super, super specific. So even if you have a hobby, it doesn't even have to be a full-fledged, business that you go. If you want to do something on the side, if you're retired and you just want something that brings in a little money, that's fine. I don't want people to think that I'm pushing everybody to just start this massive business and do that type of thing. I want you to do what you enjoy doing and be able to make some income off of that. So from the questions that you all have been sending me, and thank you so much. We're going to be doing this till Wednesday. Wednesday is our last day, guys. I'm going to miss y'all. Wednesday is going to be our last day together because many of you know I'm going to be leaving Portugal. I'm going back to the States to see my family for a couple months. And I won't be able to come on. But I think I'm going to do some once a month thing because you guys have just been so awesome. So we'll see how we do that. And again, if you want to work with me in the community in person, virtually, however that works, we have the Just Start boot camp that's coming up. We start next Tuesday, and you get to work with me in addition to community, and we're just doing it for 4 weeks, and whatever your goal is, we're gonna knock it out. So for those of you who still feel kind of lost, I really want to hear your questions so I can know how I can give content to better assist you. So what I want you also to understand, even with this series, so we're talking about the digital nomad life. The idea for me to come up with this material is because I communicated with my audience, okay? You guys told me that you wanted to move abroad and you didn't know what to do about money or jobs. And I was like, okay, well, because I'm an entrepreneur, that is the direction that I'm gonna try to take you in because that's the only thing I know. But the point of that, even if you're not moving abroad, creating this for yourself is going to be super important as we go through life. And if you plant the seeds now, because none of this stuff happens overnight, that's why I'm so obsessed when I tell you keep planting these seeds, because it comes to a point, if you're working on a very specific audience, the algorithms will understand who they should be sending the information to. And that is why I love YouTube. YouTube and search-based marketing type of platforms. Again, we talked about your Pinterest, your Quora, your YouTubes. It will literally put you in front of the audience you want because you create content and answering the questions that audience wants. So let's say you are, I do this a lot for my cosmetic dentist clients. Usually when someone's attempting to get any type of cosmetic dentistry procedure, they've been searching for it and getting research and finding how much it costs for, if not weeks, years. Somebody doesn't just wake up and say, oh, I want to, get this done to my teeth. They get online, they get on Google, they do the research. So what I made sure is that my client showed up in the city and state in which those inquiries are coming, so that when someone does want to do that, they see their information. And that's really all you're going to do. You're going to find your target audience, find the questions that your target audience has, and then you're going to produce content online, whether that be through a blog or whether it be through, I'm biased, YouTube. And then you're going to give them content so they can come back to you, and then you can start creating an educational email plan if that's what you want to do. Have them schedule a consultation, whatever you want your call to action to be. That is what you are going to put together. So even if you look at this series that I've been doing well over for, I guess, the past, 14, 13 days, I planned on doing this for 15 days, but I didn't say it out loud because I didn't know if I could commit to it, to be honest with you. But now it's over. And I use keywords. If you go back and look at it, I use keywords that I wanted to rank for. Okay. So when you consider that, now I have up to 10 to 15 digital employees that will go out into the cyberspace and continue to work years on end. What's going to happen is that Google is going to say, okay, when someone searches these words, they look at this video. Maybe I need to push this video out more because YouTube, Google, same people, their goal is to sell ads. Okay. So if you create content for your ideal client, your audience, but you have to know who your audience is. You have to be super specific about who your audience is. And then the various algorithms, and it doesn't happen overnight. YouTube is famous for making a video go viral like 4 or 5 months after you done did the video. And that's fine. But here's the thing. If you never plant the seed, they can't do that for you. And that's why I'm so obsessive with telling you all to go ahead and take action and do what you need to do and create the content, because again, it doesn't happen overnight. But the more content you have, the more the ability for people to find you, because each one of those forms of content, whether you do written, whether you do video, whether you do podcasts are a little bit harder. All of those are going to be your digital employees. And their whole goal is to bring people back to you. So I want you to kind of understand. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the box for me. Let me make sure I went over anything. So if you want a small business. Okay, financial, okay, insurance, okay, anything else? Okay. All right, let's go into these questions. Yes, Tony, thank you. I couldn't remember. I know it's Harvard and Stanford for the two of those. I appreciate you telling me that. Hey there, Kimberly. I'm glad you came here live with me as well. Appreciate you. Okay, let's see. Love the comparison you're giving with larger companies and how they targeted their niche audience and then expanded. Yes, I've messed up multiple times making that mistake. Listen, Tony, a lot of people have. You don't even feel any kind of way about it. This is that transition from corporate to digital nomad that people get stuck in. And then because they work for a corporation, they think, oh, okay, we got to do all these things that the corporation I came from did. You know what I mean? And it doesn't translate the same. And then you'll end up spending a lot of time on stuff that does not matter. If you go back to when most of these companies were created, they were super, super, super niche. And for some reason, we get stuck in that and we just don't. Okay. Hey, Tony, do you think hashtags are still effective when trying to reach your target audience? That depends on the platform that you are using. So every platform, online or otherwise, has its own ecosystem, okay? And so hashtags on Instagram may be super effective, but not so effective on Facebook and YouTube. You follow what I'm saying? So you have to understand how each ecosystem works based on the ecosystem that you plan on working with. So some of you may find that you are best served on something like LinkedIn, and going live on LinkedIn is a great way for you to get your customers, particularly if you want to do B2B, okay? Now, you have to learn the LinkedIn ecosystem. I know some people want to retarget a lot of, not retarget, that's not the word, repurpose, that's the word. A lot of people want to repurpose their content and put it on different formats, and that can work. But sometimes, like even the algorithm with Facebook, if you have a Facebook page and you take it from Instagram, you post on Instagram and you drive it to Facebook, your engagement is a lot different when you do it that way versus if you organically go to Facebook and upload directly. So there's some certain things that you'll end up learning what platform, how it works better, just because you're creating content and you're going to start to see how things are different because you're going to keep pushing out content and you'll be able to make those adjustments for yourself. So generally, are hashtags still effective? Yes. But they're not effective on every platform. So you have to decide which platform you're going to use to go hard on, because trying to be on every platform is going to wear you out. Okay. So when you think about finding your target audience, consider what are the questions that my target audience has? What are their needs? Where are they located? Online and offline. I know I talk a lot about online stuff, but sometimes it could be that they're already attached to your business and you haven't brought them online yet. We had that, I know we had that question yesterday with Rebecca, who has a physical yoga studio and she has 600 clients that are in her database. You can just send an email to them 600 clients and tell them if they want to convert to doing an online studio so they can do it when they're traveling. And the way you position that message is going to be different. You know, if you want to focus, let's say, virtual yoga, tell them the reasons why they may not want to come in. Maybe they are traveling for business and they still want to do yoga. Maybe they don't have time to leave because they're still working from home. All of those issues that your customer may have, address that in your marketing message so that when someone's reading it, they're like, oh yeah, that applies to me. Let me go ahead and sign up. So you can't do that if you don't know who your target audience is. So finding out where your target audience is probably less harder than sitting down and figure out what their problems and their issues are. Because let's say you find them, what you gonna say to them? You still have to communicate and deliver a message to them so that they will want to convert. And that is when you have to sit down and say, okay, so I'm working with plumbers. I want to work with plumbers who need an accountant. What are some of the issues that plumbers are missing when it comes to accounting in their business? They may not even know they're missing it. So now let me make it clear or make content around how they can write off various aspects of their business that I see that they're always messing up on. Again, insert your industry here, but hopefully that makes a little bit of sense as to how you can change things up and still deliver a marketing message that is targeted enough for your audience. Okay, so we're going to start off niche. Nothing wrong with that. Big companies do it all the time. Okay, you want to start off niche and then you can expand. Okay. All right, we're going to take your questions. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. We're going live. Wednesday's our last day of going live. I feel like we need to have a happy hour or a party or something, right? It's our last day going live. And for those of you who want to work with me personally and the community, be sure to sign up for the Just Start Bootcamp. We're starting that live on next Tuesday, whatever that date is. Okay. Hey there. Okay. Okay. Hey there, James. How are you? Happy Monday, Sandra. All right, let's see. Kimberly, I will create personal finance content for women over 30, and I plan to start a podcast. Cool. However, I see the value of YouTube. Yes. Should I add content there too? Live show, maybe for Q&A thoughts. Kimberly, do you already have an audience? Type that in the chat. In the event that you don't, okay. Tell me why you're doing a podcast. Not that I'm against podcasts, guys. I know podcasts are great. This is why I feel like people jump on podcasts versus doing another form. And I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm right. Because your face is not on here. And I get it. Being on your face on here is annoying. Okay. But here's the problem. Podcasts don't really show up in search the way that other forms of media does, including YouTube. If you Google, what's your industry? Create personal finance. Let's say someone's asking how to invest their tax return. That may not have anything to do with it. They want to know how to invest their tax return. Where do you think they're going to ask that question? They're going to go to Google. And if somebody made a video on it, because Google owns YouTube, they're going to make sure that video show up. That's why, like, for you folks who are in a personal service industry, most of y'all don't make content, definitely don't make no video content. So it's not even competitive right now. And it's definitely not competitive in your city or state. So let's say it does get to this point, because people are going to start coming, more people are going to come on YouTube. So the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be, because it's just going to be more competitive. So I say all that to say, what was my point with all that? I say all that to say, I am definitely going to recommend you do a YouTube channel. I am actually going to recommend you do it before the podcast. If you want, you could easily just strip the audio from the YouTube video and make your podcast that way. That way you could do it both. And then you can personally see the statistics and the analytics based on how many leads you're getting from a podcast and how many leads you're getting from YouTube. But I am going to tell you from experience, when the last time you've seen a podcast show up on search? So it's harder to monetize it. Not to mention, if you do well, YouTube's gonna pay you. YouTube will pay you for your content if people are engaging with it. And podcasts are harder to monetize with an audience that you may not have yet. So that's my personal feeling. But yeah, let me know if you already have an audience. If you do, I'm gonna tell you to do both. I'm really gonna tell you to do YouTube. But if you really have your heart set on a podcast, then I will say, okay. Let me see. Did I get everything there? What I hope to accomplish with this series. Okay. All right. Let's go to some more questions. Guys, if you have any questions, just type them in the chat box and I will answer those for you. All right. Do you feel YouTube has become oversaturated, making it harder to gain traction? No. Especially when trying to broadcast your digital nomad expert? No, I don't. Not even close. And I think it's important to understand when people are looking at information, they don't just go to one video. They go to a whole bunch of them. So I may be one of the videos people may go to in regards to a digital nomad experience. And then they're going to go to others. I'm cool with that. And then they have to grade based on the material that they get if it was helpful or not. That's all it is. But here's what I will say. Because now, which I couldn't have said this even 3 weeks ago, because now I have so much content, and when I say so much, maybe 10 whole videos, my content is going to push up. If you go on YouTube right now and you type in digital nomad, you won't see at least 3 of my videos pop up. And that was done in less than a week. I am telling you to do something I know works. Okay. I'm not making this up. You're seeing me build this brand in real time, folks. I want you to do this for you and your industry. Okay. Because whether you want to go full time, whether you want to make this a side thing, your individuality is what is going to attract people to you. Not everybody's going to work with me. Most of them don't even, those people don't even like me. You know what I'm saying? She's rude. She's condescending. That's cool. But the people who do want to work with you, they're going to see that and they will take the next step. I'm not telling you to do something that I don't do, guys. So no, it is not oversaturated because there is nobody who could be you ever. There's no one who could be you. I don't care if you put your platform or you put your brand on all these different things. It's you. Can't nobody be you. And so if you put yourself out there, people decide if they want to work with you or not. If they want to work with you, you give them the ability to do that. If they don't want to work with you, hopefully they just keep it moving. So no, it's not oversaturated. And if you got something you want to say to this world, honey, you tell them. All right. Okay, let's see. For those who have come from the corporate world, is there any good methods to find out which is your audience? Well, what is your product? What do you want to? And I say this because either way, you're still going to have to create content. And if you have a bunch of different ideas, figure out which type of content will irritate you the less to create. And I say that because you're going to have to do this and nobody's listening initially. So if no one's listening initially, what would you create content on that you would do if no one is paying attention? Because sometimes people don't get any response and that frustrates them or they give up. And I don't want you to focus on something and then you'll end up giving up on. So if you come from the corporate world, you could do one of two things. You could say, okay, I come from the corporate world. This is what I did in corporate America. If you liked it, you could easily make that transition to either consulting or concentrating on the audience that you concentrated on in corporate America. If you did not like your job, I know we got some people who don't like their job, and that's fine. If you did not like your job, then the question is, okay, so what are some things that you enjoy that you could use as a hobby or that you're trying to learn? Guys, remember from this channel, I did not know what I was doing as it relates to Portugal. This whole brand was created because I was doing something new and I didn't know what I was doing. And I was sharing with people along that journey. You could do the same thing. So figure out what you want to talk about or what you want to give to the world in regards to value. And then we can determine who your audience is. So tell me, we'll go as long as you guys have questions today. So tell me what you're considering, and then I can help you with the audience. I hope that's helpful. Greetings from the DMV. Hey, DMV. Okay, no brand new, no audience. Nope, okay, brand new. All right, honey, Kimberly, go on YouTube. I thought of doing a podcast because it's easier for me to produce. I know it is. I get it. Listen, I know that's why people go on a podcast. They go on a podcast because you talk, you sit on your couch, you talk, you do all that, right? Problem is they're hard to monetize too. So I'm not sure what your goal is for the podcast or why you're creating it. If it's to make another income stream, podcasts are really hard to monetize when you don't have an audience. They're just hard to monetize. It would be easier to get your audience from YouTube and then transition them to a podcast if you want to, but you're already on YouTube. I'm going to push you in the YouTube direction. So y'all know I'm biased. We are visual creatures. Yes, Sandra. Makes sense. I've struggled with that decision for a long time. Good. Now you know what to do. And guys, if you want to work with me, don't forget we have the 4-week boot camp. We are doing that. The link is in the description for registration. No likes. Thank you, Sandra. Wait, nobody's liking this content that I'm giving you? Like, give me some likes on this. Oh, y'all hurt my feelings. Like, I want to make sure y'all getting something. Like, don't do me like that. Okay. Do you feel like do you think faceless YouTube channels have the same traction in search as well as building absolutely. There are tons of faceless YouTube channels that are making sick amount of money. One of them is, it's called Bright something. When you do faceless YouTubes, you can Google it or YouTube it. It's a ton of them. Like particularly if you're talking about a particular topic, most types of content that those websites, those channels do well on is listicles. And that's usually, top 5 fastest cars or top this or best destinations. Like, they make a ton, but don't think that you have to have your face on here. You could do it through voiceovers. You don't have to show your face. I don't want people. There are people on YouTube now who have like 5 or 6 faceless YouTube channels. And they run those. They do various content based on a super niche audience. And like, if you think about it, like between YouTube channels or websites or blogs, consider that like, the new real estate. You can have more than one. I have more than one YouTube channel. So you can have more than one, and you can monetize all of them to bring back the overall income that you want for your life. I'm not ever recommending that you just do one source of income. And tomorrow live, we're going to talk about how to monetize YouTube in addition to how to monetize your email list. And for those people who are part of the boot camp, we're going to spend some time one-on-one about the email list and how to develop that and create your message, because in my opinion, it's one of the most important forms of marketing that you can create, particularly if you're a small business. So yeah, if you have any questions, guys, go ahead and put it down. Did I put your question up there? I did. Okay. Yes. The question was, do they have the same traction? They absolutely do. And the same following? They absolutely do. Oh, Sandra's like, okay, 2 likes. So only 2 people like it. See? Yeah, what y'all gonna do when I'm gone and I'm not here no more? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. Hello from Michigan. Let's see. Okay, hello from Michigan. I'm currently work for the state of Michigan as a manager, and I'm looking to transition into life coaching with a niche of reflexology. I want to make a total switch. Okay, this sounds good. Aqua Moon, I love it. Okay, so you gotta create content. I want you to create content in these niches or niche, however you want to pronounce it. Create the content that will educate people, and then let them know in that process of why they need to work with you specifically. But the first goal you're going to do is create the content. Start to go on Google and YouTube. If you don't, like, there's software out there that will give you information on how people are searching for this and that. Let me see if I can go to Google Trends real quick. Google I'm sorry, guys. Let me hit this up. Trends. Let's go there. All right, let me share my screen. So you can just go to, I'm sorry, I know I can't chew gum and walk. I struggle. All right, we want to show Google Trends, and we're doing that. So let me bring this up real quick. Okay. So this is Google Trends, and this is a good way to kind of do some research if you don't want to pay for software that shows all this information. Now, guys, remember, I am in Portugal right now. So you see up here, it says geo equals PT. Do this in the country. Do it in America. So we no telling what I'm going to come up here. Reflexology. Did I spell that right? I probably didn't. Okay, so why am I showing? See, this is going to give me Portugal stuff. All right, so, but you get the idea. Sorry, that didn't work out the way that I wanted it to because I didn't put on a IP. But in the country in which you are, just go to Google Trends and type in the topics that you're thinking about so you can do a little bit of research to find out, is it trending? Are people interested? What part of the state, country people are interested? Do that level of research now. Then start to just take a piece of paper, write down the top 10 questions that people ask in that industry, and start to go on Google and see if there's content that's already created on that. If there isn't any content, your competition is going to be super low. It's going to be super easy for you to rank. If there is some competition and some information, look at the top searches and see, is it an article? How many words did the article have? What are some of the things that the article are discussing? That can give you a better idea of, okay, so when Google sees this keyword or these series of phrases, this is the type of content they make number one. See how long the article is. Like, start to do some back-end research, and then that will give you a better idea as to how you can create content for the audience that you wish to serve. So I'm never going, please don't ever create content blindly. Do a little bit of research as to what people are searching for, because that's how it helps your process go faster. If you just think of random topics, and you can, but it's going to take you a lot longer to monetize. If you concentrate on the topics that people are actually searching for. So this is kind of a hard part for people coming from corporate, because sometimes they get so far removed of what the individual the individual customer's needs are. But I want you to take it back to that level so that you know that when, like, what are the questions? What are your frequently asked questions? And that way you can create relevant content to that group, and researching who's already showing up as number one can give you a better roadmap as to what type of content you need to create. But for off the break, Aquamoon, you got to create content. Even if you wanted to create ads, you still got to put content in the ad. So all day long, first place that I'm going to tell people is research what people are searching for, in addition to creating content. Hope that's helpful. Oh, shoot. Okay. When it comes to doing YouTube, I notice you tend to do a lot of live content. What are the benefits to go live versus on-demand videos? Is one better for beginners? Okay, that's a really good question. I go live because I hate editing. That's one of the reasons. One of the reasons is I absolutely hate editing. And if I have a certain goal to push a certain amount of content out and I had to edit, it will never come out. The good thing about me going live is that literally after I hit end broadcast, it's over. I don't have to look at it no more. I will have to optimize the description box, but somebody else could do that. And somebody else could edit for me, but because I'm neurotic, and not even that I'm this great editor, it's just I'll think this certain thing should be included. And somebody else will be like, oh, maybe we can cut that out. And I'm like, no, that's important, but I'm neurotic. So answering your question. So I do it because I can get the content out there quicker. Two, I also do it for engagement. So engagement is probably one of the biggest algorithm markers for any platform you're on. The more people engage with your content, the more YouTube or any platform that exists are going to shoot you up, because ultimately everyone's goal, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Google, whether it's, whomever, is to keep people on their platform. So if you succeeded in doing that, they're going to push more people out to you because your content was at least good enough, entertaining enough, solved the problem enough for people to still stay engaged. Okay. So if you do a on-demand video, you can still get that level of engagement because ultimately it boils down to your content. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if I was up here and in 3 seconds, you felt like she don't even know what she's talking about, you wouldn't stay on. And my engagement would be low, and then therefore YouTube wouldn't push me to people. So whatever you do, the way your content still has to be good. Whatever industry you're in, your content needs to be good so that people feel like they're getting something, so that YouTube can say, can say, okay, this is engaging enough. Let me send some people there. On-demand videos, most of the videos on my particular channel are less live than they are on demand. Did I say that right? I don't know. You may see a lot of live videos between now and last week just because I had this internal challenge with myself. Okay, but prior to that, most of my stuff was recorded videos that I uploaded. Also, I like doing live because I'm able to communicate with you all. You know what I mean? So I couldn't do this on demand. Like if I had time to answer questions, I try to answer most of the questions that I get on my videos, and sometimes I just don't have time. On here, because we're here, because I carved out this hour, if you have a question and you're here with me, I can answer it. But I can't necessarily promise that when it's a video I upload. So that's usually why I like live. But it's a personal thing, whatever you feel. But either way could work. I just checked, laugh a lot, and you have 6 videos on the first page. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. I just checked and you have 6 videos on the first page for Digital Nomad Search. How did you get them on the first page? Look, because I'm up here doing it. That is how. So listen, and we're going to talk about this in the boot camp. So if you haven't signed up for the boot camp and you're ready to take everything to the next level, the link is in the description. But the short answer is you create the content. Like you see, Digital Nomad is in my title. Guys, this ain't rocket science. You could do this with your business. That's what I'm saying. But you got to figure out what your industry is, what your niche is, so that you can be strategic in your title. Because ultimately, you have to tell Google what it's about. And if you come up with these super creative titles that nobody reading it will know what it means, it's not gonna have good engagement. And then YouTube don't know what it is. So when you type Digital Nomad, YouTube is like, oh, we got some content. Digital Nomad, let me shove this person in your face. See, I didn't have to pay for ads. I didn't have to do any of that. I just made the content. That is why I am telling you all to make the content. How do you think I show up when you put in Portugal and Lisbon? Because I made the content. The reason why I'm showing up is because I made the content. The reason why you're here right now, content. So I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, honey. I need y'all to make the content. That's the first goal I want y'all to do before you do anything. Before you think about creating a course, doing anything, create the content. That's all I want. Okay. I'm an artist. Wait. I'm an artist and painter. What was the first question? Is that the industry? Oh, that's what okay. So you want to know how to create your target audience? Like, well, so tell me, if you're an artist and a painter, who buys your work? Who typically buys your work now? It's not going to be teenagers who go to school. So who is your target audience now? Say that, and then we can find out, okay, so where are they? I also would recommend you start creating content to show people how you come up with your work. Like, you've probably seen some people online now, showing their various artistic ability. Usually you keep doing that, people in the comments like, oh my God, that's beautiful. How do I purchase it? But if you never create the content, nobody's gonna know. Okay, I have liked every video. Thank you for liking every video, honey. I appreciate you so much. Okay, excellent idea. Thank you. Okay. Excellent idea. Thank you. I never thought to try this. Wonderful, honey. I'm glad we are dropping gems today. Okay, guys, and if you have any questions, go ahead and chat them, because when the questions are over, I'm out of here. Editing is the worst thing in the world. Editing is horrible. I hate it. Okay, tell us about the boot camp. You mentioned the boot camp. The registration is in the link, and basically it is 4 weeks you are working with me and the community, and we are going over accomplishing the one goal you have for the end of the summer, and we're going to support each other. I have a couple goals for the summer that I need to be held accountable for, and we're knocking it out. So you'll get me giving you personal information on your specific business for everyone who's there. In addition to, there's some other training I'm going to put in there that I think people need, like email marketing training and creating content and that type of thing. But ultimately, it's like just do it. Like just start. That's what it is. So I'm going to be going live with the group every Tuesday, I think at 7:30. I don't know. Click the link in the description and it'll give you all that information. But because I'll be in the States, I can operate on the East Coast time frame. Y'all know when I'm here in Portugal, we're 5 hours ahead. So I know that this is morning for you guys, and I'm sorry. I know everybody can't come live, but it's crazy late in the East. When it's like 7, 8 in the East Coast, it's crazy late here. So that's why I have to do it so early. So I apologize. But when I'm in the States next week, we can work it out together, and I'll be on a more reasonable time frame for my East Coast and even my West Coast folks. Okay. All right. Is that all the questions we have? Let us see. Good morning. Good morning. I think that's all the questions we have. Tell us what we can if we did that. Okay. Let's looks like I'm doing, what's that? Looks like I'm doing YouTube. Yes. Come on over, Kimberly. Come on over to the YouTube family. We'd love to have you. Okay, wow, send 6 pages. That's phenomenal. 6 pages, what, considering how many digital nomad videos out there? Oh, yes. Yay. Thank you, honey. I appreciate you. But do you see how you can do that too? Do you see how, and depending on how long is this video, that may not stay that same way, guys. So understand that. That's what it is right now. But the way, things change, somebody else can throw a video and it can knock me all out, and that's fine. But I'm saying all this so you can see in real time that you could do this. Like, I'm not the type of person who's going to tell you to do something that I haven't done. Because if I haven't done it, I'm going to tell you. And I'm like, I don't know if that'll work or not. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you that. But I'm telling you, whether it be for me or whether it be for my clients, the stuff works. I just need y'all to do it. Okay? Looks like, okay, well, did you try diversify across platforms for monetization? Okay, so here we are. Do you try to diversify across other platforms for monetization like Twitch or TikTok? So I recommend going to platforms that, 2 things. I'm always going to be biased to search-based platforms. So if my client or someone I'm trying to attract has a problem, I want to come up and search. You can't do that with TikTok. You can't do that with Twitch. You can't do that with podcasts. You can't do that with Facebook. You can't do that with Instagram. I am not saying that you can't make money off of those platforms. And when you look at the people who are super successful, a lot of them were the first ones on said platform. And so the algorithms, when they're introducing something new, like if any of those environments, I can't think of a technical word, platforms, that's what I want, roll out a new feature. If you jump on the new feature pretty soon, like let's say Instagram is trying to compete with TikTok, so they threw out Reels, right? So if you engage in Reels right now, they haven't fine-tuned the algorithm all the way to a way that they want to control. So it's easier for people to find you in Reels right now. But then that's going to change. Remember, it was IGTV initially, and then that changed. And then it was just posting on Instagram, So all of these platforms changed. And because they are intranets versus internets, meaning you have to log in to be able to see the content, they can change things and make it more difficult to get to a new audience. Now, do I do it for monetization purposes? No. For TikTok, you need a lot of people to monetize, like a ton. And I don't even know Twitch. And then 2, my audience isn't necessarily there per se. Some of my audience could be there, but I like to work with the people who are searching for the question and then get to them. Now with monetization, the great thing about YouTube, guys, if you monetize, you only need 1,000 subscribers on YouTube to monetize. That's why people are like so caught up on subscribers. After 1,000 subscribers, it really don't matter how many subscribers you have. I mean, that's how I feel. Because if the content is good, YouTube's going to push you to those people anyway. So as far as monetization, you can get monetized on YouTube, in my opinion, faster than most of those other platforms. So for me personally, based on my audience isn't necessarily on TikTok. I mean, I'm sure I could find some people on TikTok, but that's not really where I want to focus my energy. So not really. Okay, can you do a boot camp on project management? Because all of this has to take some amount. It does take, it does take time and structure and a bunch of that. I cannot commit to a boot camp on that this summer. So the only reason why I'm able to do the boot camp right now, guys, is because it's the summertime. So most of my clients, and you'll see advertising budgets usually lay low during the summer. So I have more time on my hand than I typically do. So I can do this boot camp and hopefully knock out some things for me personally. Because even though I'm telling you guys about, like, you know, building your own personal brand, I wasn't able to do that before I moved to Portugal. It was always on my to-do list, and I knew the importance of it, but I just didn't have time because I was so busy working with clients. Now I live in Portugal, and when moving to Portugal, my whole goal was, let me be able to get rid of some clients, cut my expenses, and just focus on my personal brand. So what you are seeing in real time is me concentrating on my personal brand. And while I'm doing that, I want you to do it too. I want you to do it too, based on what you are interested in, what you love, and what you're passionate about. I want that for you. So during the summer is why I'm able to do the boot camp now. And again, if you want to join, the link is in the description. We'll be working together. But I can't do one on project management. I'll try maybe during the fall. I can pull that off. Yay, Kimberly. Okay, so let's see. All right, after your live chat on Saturday, I sat down and created a list of 20 videos to create for my new YouTube. Yes, boo. Okay. You've helped clarify my understanding of the relationship between content and business. I love it. I love that. So I can't wait. I can't wait. Boa tarde. Okay, those platforms are for impressions, for brand building and identity. I agree. Okay, guys, if that's all the questions you have, I am out of here. Again, don't forget to sign up for the 4-week boot camp. Description is in the box. If you have any questions between now and Wednesday, I will be going live. Tomorrow will be earlier, about an hour earlier. But if you guys are on my list, you'll get the email. I think we're going to do it 3 p.m. Western European time. Somebody asked me what is WET. It's Western European time zone, which will be 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be live here with you again tomorrow. Wednesday is our last day. Okay, it's our last day together. So get your questions together and let's end it out. Tomorrow, we're talking about how to monetize with YouTube and with your email list. These, in my opinion, are the 2 most important things if you are just starting out, okay? So I want you to have a little bit of idea as to how those 2 pieces will fall together, even if you don't have a website. You guys know I didn't have a website when I first started, and I still monetize. So let's talk. Okay, for business owners, you can write off your boot camp. Sandra, you're so cute. Can I have you as my hype woman? For business owners, you can write off the boot camp as a business expense training for your company. That is correct. I love you to death, hon. Thanks so much, Simon. I appreciate your feedback. You are so welcome, Kimberly. I can't wait to hear about the amazing, awesome things you're going to be doing. Guys, it's been real. If we don't have any more questions, we are out. I will see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, different bat time, probably an hour early, but you'll get the email and I'll let you know. So until next time, bye, guys.